Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webcast on data-driven insights and decision-making for effective pricing strategies. My name is Lauren, and I am a data and AI consultant at Thorogood, based in our Boston office. And today I'm joined by my colleague Filipe, who is also a data and AI consultant and based out of our Sao Paulo office. If you have any questions about the role of data and analytics in enhancing pricing strategies, do feel free to reach out via email or LinkedIn. Now, let's see what we're going to cover today. On today's webinar, we will start with a quick introduction to Thorogood. I will then provide a quick overview of net revenue management, shedding some light on the 5 facets of revenue management. Then, we'll dig deeper into pricing strategy. Some of you might have already participated in our previous webcast on data-driven, shopper-centric approach towards NRM. This is the second installment of the series where we will be covering effective pricing strategies and how we can help you apply technology to improve decision-making when it comes to pricing strategy. We will then talk about competitive pricing in particular and the role that data and analytics can play in helping an organization make effective pricing decisions. We'll end by covering some of the factors which impact price change opportunities. For those of you who do not know Thorogood, we are a global independent consultancy firm specializing in data and analytics. We combine our business focus with best-in-class technological solutions to solve complex business problems. We blend business understanding with strong technical aptitude and a deep understanding of analytical tools. We are a global company with offices in London, Boston, Philadelphia, Bangalore, Singapore, and Sao Paulo. And we offer a full range of services across the data and analytics spectrum, including strategy and roadmaps, requirements, design, implementation, and training and support. As I mentioned, we are an independent consultancy, so we maintain close partnerships with many of the key vendors in our space. Here, we show you some of the major technologies we work with. Our independence means we can identify the best possible solutions for our customers based upon their needs. And so now I'll deep dive into an overview of net revenue management. Revenue management, or NRM, is critical to the success of every CPG organization. NRM was originally conceived in the travel industry, and it allowed airlines to use data to effectively price tickets based on fluctuating demand patterns. Similarly, net revenue management can provide CPG organizations with the ability to effectively exploit the data available to them by identifying and leveraging opportunities for good growth. Fortunately, these organizations now have access to a lot of data points, both internal and external, that can aid with revenue management. By applying disciplined analytics that predict shopper behavior and combining that with competitor data, CPG companies can optimize product availability, providing the opportunity to maximize revenue growth and profit. NRM methodologies allow organizations to make informed decisions that drive real strategic success, which is reflected in positive net revenue changes. Specifically, this is achieved by analyzing internal P&L and external market share data through several lenses. At the end of the day, it's about identifying the opportunity to sell the right product to the right person at the right time for the right occasion. Let's dig a little bit deeper into the 5 facets, or also sometimes called the 5 levers, of net revenue management. I'll go through the focus of each one and talk about example questions you might ask to drive your strategy. The first facet is brand portfolio, which is about identifying the optimal pricing model for your product portfolio. The questions you might ask are, what are customers willing to pay for your product? How are my brands positioned across channels? How are the promotions affecting the average price of those brands? The second lever is pack pricing, which is focused on identifying and implementing product or packaging changes that will result in the greatest margin improvements and/or profit growth. The key questions of this lever are: which pack size can be boosted? What gaps do the brands have in their pack lineup? Or which price points can be activated? The third area is active mix, which is about maintaining the right mix of products across channels, retailers, and locations that maximize profits and growth. The driving questions are: which assortments and distributions should I make? And how do I optimize those assortments and distributions to drive profitable growth? The fourth facet is trade promotions. For this facet, the goal is ensuring that promotions add to profit for the retailer or the brand by aligning spending to the right places and rigorously assessing promotion effectiveness. The main questions of this facet are: which promotional mechanics do I deploy to drive profitable volume growth? And how do I identify those mechanics? Lastly, we have trade terms, which is about maximizing share of profit by matching list prices to target consumer prices and having fair trade terms with retailers. The key question of this facet is: how do I optimize trade terms investments? And so with that, I will hand it over to my colleague Filipe to dive into competitive pricing and the role data and analytics can play in it.
Thanks, Lauren. Hello, everyone. So let's get started with data and analytics in competitive pricing. So a pricing strategy is an approach taken by businesses to decide how much to charge for their goods and services. It may consider a number of things such as costs incurred, profit margins, market conditions, competition prices, or even consumers' willingness to pay for a product. There are many approaches to pricing strategies. One common approach is competitive pricing, which consists of determining prices by considering the prices of competitors, aiming to stay in line with or differentiate from the competition. So this brings us to three different approaches. First, we have premium positioning. So if your products offer unique features, superior quality, or if they are part of a well-established brand, you can choose to position them as a premium product and price them higher than competitors. We can also consider a value positioning approach if you want to appeal to price-sensitive consumers, so you can position your products as offering high value for a competitive or lower price. And we can also choose a price matching approach when you choose to closely match your prices with those of your competitors to remain competitive. This can be especially effective for products where consumers perceive them as largely interchangeable. So data and analytics can play a vital role in helping to define the competitive pricing strategy and also in evaluating the success of it. It all starts with data preparation. So we first need to gather comprehensive data about competitors, such as product prices across different product sizes, formats, segments. We should also consider if there are any promotions being run and what are the different distribution channels being used. Then we can combine this competition information with other data sources, such as third-party syndicated data, market research, and the organization's internal sales to gain a holistic view of the competitive landscape. Once we have the data, we must identify the key competitors by analyzing the brands that directly compete with your products and the price range of the competitors' products within a category. The starting point is to analyze market share to identify which are the largest competitors in the market. Next step is positioning the product, where we must strategically price the product in the market following our three approaches. It is also important to set pricing targets based on whether we want the product to be perceived as premium or value in comparison to your competitors. Once these targets are set, we can monitor the changes on a periodic basis, so we can regularly measure how the actual prices compare to target prices and determine if we're pricing above, below, or on target. We can also analyze the impact of the price changes over time, for example, if there is an unexpected change in market share. And finally, we may have to adjust our pricing strategies accordingly, which finishes this loop. Now, what we have here is a standard architecture template that demonstrates how we go about implementing a solution that helps us exploit the different data sets to get the full value of our pricing strategy. So we first start with collecting relevant data, for example, sales data with information about competitor sales metrics. And this information can be blended with the organization's master data. Our analysis can be further supplemented by considering data sources like consumer panel data, which provides information on consumer preferences, how much do they perceive, do they value our brand, or how premium do they perceive our brand. Another source we could use is market inflation data, which gives a general idea about how consumers have been affected by inflation over a period of time. Once we're done with data collection, we can extract, clean, and transform the data sets to apply relevant business logic and enable storage in the organization's data lake, data warehouse, or lakehouse. We can then use data modeling expertise along with certain tools and technologies to harmonize and model the data in a way that helps us derive meaningful insights. And finally, we can build reports on top of this model using data visualization tools that can help us identify opportunities for growth, uncover relevant insights, or pave the way for further investigation. These can help the business to plan actions ahead. Now, let's have a look at a sample visualization. So right here, I have a simple data set with me made up products that has a combination of products of the organization and the competitors. We have a column here named target price index that indicates which are the targets that we have set. So the target here is not a price value, but an index. These indexes are representing how your prices should be compared to the competition. So if it is 100, it means your price should match the competition price. If it is higher than 100, it means you're positioning your product as a premium product. And if it is less than 100, then you're following a value positioning. The main advantage of using this index is that since competitor prices are not static, using the index can be helpful to always identify how your products are positioned when comparing with the competition. So you're always looking at your relative positioning to your competitors. In this donut chart here in the left, we can see there are 3 different colors, with red representing products that are below target and yellow or orange representing the products that are above target. In this below target table, we can see that for these products here, the actual price index is below the target price index. So based on the chosen pricing strategy, we should be increasing their prices, which obviously provides more revenue to the company, but might impact market share. In the above target table, we have the opposite situation where the actual price indexes are higher than the target price index. So there is scope to reduce the price of these products if there is a chance to gain market share. We can also drill through one of these products, and we have this visual that shows how the price index is changing over time. We can see, for example, that the price index has been increasing over these 5 months, and we can also check if there is a change in market share based on the price variations. So if we see a clear drop in market share at the same time there was a price increase, then we should probably reconsider the price strategy for this given product. Now, let's talk about the factors that might impact price change opportunities. In the previous visual, we were looking mainly at pricing targets and how products were above, below, or on target. This is just one of the factors that we can consider before deciding on a price change. So there are other factors which could be considered to supplement your decision. For example, how do consumers perceive your product? So what is its premium index? This premium index basically measures how premium or luxurious a product or brand is perceived to be relative to its competitors. So if your product has a higher premium index, it can justify a higher price relative to your competitors. Then we have the growth in category average price. So is year-on-year price growth in line with category average price growth? And similarly, how does your product price growth compare with inflation? So these are some of the factors that can affect the price change, but not all of them will carry the same weight. So for this analysis, the price index target has the highest weight since it measures how you're performing against an internal pricing strategy. The second highest weight is the premium index, so how consumers perceive your product. Do they consider it as more premium than the competition or not? And lastly, we have the category average price growth and the inflation. Now let's have a look at a visual where we combine all these factors. So here we have assigned scores based on the weight of each factor. For example, the first score is the comparison against the price index target. If the actual price index is below target, the score will be -4 and +4 if it is above target. The second score represents the premium index comparison. So if the product is perceived as more premium than the competition, the assigned score will be -3. And if it is more value oriented, the score is +3. Then we have the same scenario for category average price growth, where the score is -2 if the product price is growing slower than the category price, or +2 if it is growing faster. And for inflation, -1 if the product price is lower, or +1 if it is faster. With these scores assigned, the products will be ranked from -10 to +10, where -10 will indicate that the product is clearly underpriced, and +10 if the product is clearly overpriced. Now, if we select the clearly underpriced filter, it brings this particular product that has a score of -10. And we can see that there are multiple factors that are contributing to this underpriced situation. So there may be many different areas where we can improve this price or increase the price based on all of these factors. Now, let's talk about some next steps. In the previous slide, we have seen the different steps involved in coming up with a good pricing strategy. With data preparation, Thorogood has an extensive experience in helping organizations implement best practices for data ingestion and data modeling to set the foundation for robust pricing strategies. With the data model in place, we can then start developing dashboards and visualizations to closely monitor price performance, allowing your team to gain actionable insights. Next step would be to utilize machine learning models to identify competitor brands, pack sizes, and formats to make sure the pricing targets are being set appropriately. We can also think of having models that analyze past performance to identify the best price targets that must be set. And finally, after setting up all these steps, we can create a system that monitors performance, suggests an increase or decrease in price based on the actual values, and enables this feedback loop where we can determine if the price or the target must be changed or not. This is the end of the webcast. Hope you enjoyed the content and were able to benefit from this session. Please feel free to reach out to me or Lauren to know more about any of the topics that we discussed today or about data and AI in general. So thank you and have a good rest of your day.